Inside Leominster is brought to you through the generous support of Colonial Insulation Company, residential and commercial insulation and fireproofing services, specializing in blown-in cellulose as well as spray foam insulation. For more information, visit their website, colonialinsulation.com.
Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the city, and yes, we're live tonight, as we are each and every Thursday night. And we have a good show coming up. Got a guest coming up from the Worcester Regional Airport. We're going to tell you all about it because there's exciting things happening at that airport. And as you know, it's just a hop, a skip, and a jump away from us. Art is on a vacation day today. He did let us know and put in for the vacation day, and we said, Art, not only are we going to give you a vacation day, but you will get paid in full. So Art accepted that. He's off tonight. So just want to let you know a couple of things. Last week we had members of the Leominster Haitian organization. They were here, and we were talking about the Haitian festival that we had on the Common. And front page of the Champion, I believe the Sentinel also covered it. And we had a great day. And lots of people, I'll tell you, for the first event, well organized, well orchestrated, ran out of food. Some of the vendors ran out of food earlier than like maybe 2 hours into the event, but it's hard to predict how many people would have come. And but we had a ball. Kids had a ball. We had good food, music, dancing. I'm trying to find the next page here. For some reason, I can't get it up. Let's see if that was the page. And that wasn't even the page. Let's see. Oh, and so they had a nice article, lots of pictures at the first Haitian Community Expo in the Common. It's a great place. If your organization would like to use the Common, it's what they call it, a Common. It brings a place where brings people together in the community, and that's perfect for an event that size. Although it was a little bigger than we thought, and so think about it. And it's a great place to have an event. So. Lots going on. Before we take our first break of the night, I want to remind you that tomorrow night is the 14th. I know this doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is Friday. It is also Friday the 13th. It's also a full moon, and it's also the largest food truck festival that we're going to have. We had to cut it off because we ran out of space for vendors. So those are all things we'll talk about. And then also, first of, this weekend, because it is Harvest Moon tomorrow night, we are kicking off our first Harvest Tractor Parade. And so we'll talk about that tonight, and it will go in combination with the farmers market that'll be on the Common this weekend. So lots to talk about. We're going to take a short break when you guys are ready back there, and then we're coming back with Andy Davis. He's the director of the Worcester Regional Airport, and we're going to have lots to talk about, so stay tuned. I think I. Look at that. All nice job getting all things for the 13th and 12th. If I said Friday the 14th or tomorrow the 14th, I meant Friday the 13th. That's tomorrow, so you'll know in case you catch this on repeat. On Saturday or Sunday, the event is over, so it's Friday, September 13th. Will be our first food truck festival, full moon, and Friday the 13th. And coincidentally, we did it coinciding. The first one that we did at Shoalin Farms was meant to do it on the harvest moon. So we made sure, so we do it when we have the harvest moon, but we ended up moving it to Friday nights, which just so happens to be the coincidence of it all, a full moon and Friday the 13th. So Carla, welcome to the show.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing tonight?
Doing good.
Are you going to come to the food truck festival?
Yes, Jillian's coming too.
I'm having a grilled cheese, at least.
Me
That's the
too.
very minimum. Last year or the year before, they ran out,
Yes, I'm coming too.
and I pouted. So I went to the mobile gas station and bought a piece of cheese,
Yuck.
and I got 2 pieces of bread, and I stuck it on my engine, and it melted it
That's
perfectly.
disgusting.
It is, I know, but hey, that's when you got it in your mind.
I've been behaving at McDonald's.
Are you there now?
No, I'm bad by behaving.
Well, when you get to work tomorrow, just start giving out free French fries. Just tell everybody, free French fry Friday.
Yep,
Full moon Friday, free French fries for everybody.
yep,
Right?
yep. That was a nice event we went yesterday.
Where'd you go yesterday? Oh, yeah,
Johnny
down at the
Rowe.
Johnny Rowe Park. Yes, very nice.
I have to tell you the truth, I walked down there.
You walked all the way?
Yeah.
Well, you should have let us know. We would have given you a ride.
Yes, and one of the congressman's daughters brought me home.
Oh, good. A lot of you?
Yep.
Yeah, oh, good. She's nice.
All right.
That was nice.
I'll see
All
you
right.
over then.
Over and out. See you tomorrow.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Don't try to
Bye-bye.
push me out of the grilled cheese line.
Yep. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye.
Crystal. All right. If you have any questions, 978-537-7760. That's the number to call. Press extension 3, and we'll be together. Andy Davis, director of the Worcester Regional Airport. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I couldn't make it to the event, and I really did want to go because I wanted to show this area support, and it's a regional airport.
That's right.
And so we need to get the word out to the whole area that this airport exists and that there are a number of airlines flying out of there. And so when I saw it and I couldn't make it, I said, you know what, but maybe we can get them on.
Sure.
You know, maybe we can get on the show. And I think the reason I wasn't able to come is because I think I was here. Or it was that day, or I forget what it was. But anyway, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
And so the airport is really changed. It's now
Really
under the
is.
direction of the state
Right.
and Massport.
Massachusetts Port Authority, correct?
And I don't know if anybody's ever been there, but I have taken a number of flights out of there. And one, I think I took this. I don't know if they still do it, but it was a flight to New York City, and then from New York City, you can get anywhere. Every hour they go to. I think I went to Washington D.C., so I flew first to New York, and then in New York I picked up one of those. I don't know, those Airbuses.
Right.
And there's 1 million people on them, and they travel back and forth. And I took that into Washington. It was perfect. I don't know if they do that anymore.
Well, actually, yes.
They do.
That's the glamour of the Worcester Regional Airport. We now have 3 major airlines, JetBlue, American, and Delta.
Delta's a new one, right?
Exactly. They just started this past August. American started this past October.
Good.
JetBlue added the New York's Kennedy flight in addition to the 2 flights
Oh,
they've
they
been
did?
flying to Florida.
Okay,
so
good.
3 airlines, 5 nonstops to 5 major markets. But what's really important is those 5 major markets are also hubs for these airlines. So if you're making a connection, if
Piece
you
of
need
cake.
to make a connection, you can get one stop to and from virtually the world.
So don't panic thinking that because it's nonstop from here to wherever you're going.
Right.
Don't panic because it's the hub and there's plenty of gates and that's where they operate out of.
Exactly.
So you'll be able to make a connection. They leave every hour or half hour for the most part.
To several destinations. We calculate over 150 markets that you can fly to and from, bringing in your family, friends,
Right.
and business clients.
Sure.
It's important to bring those customers in too because they're coming to do business. They're coming with their wallets, and that helps drive the economy of
Right.
Central Massachusetts.
It does. I remember times at first taking those, early morning flights, and all business people or people on business, men and women. It's like nothing. It's like for them, it's like jumping in a car to go to Dunkin' Donuts, and they jump on a plane, they go to work. Some come back that night. Others leave on a Monday night, come back on a Thursday.
Yep.
Some work from home a few days, but they have to travel. So business is, we're out of the recession.
Right.
So more and more people are traveling. And so I assume that part of the expansion of the airport is counting on the business.
Exactly. A good balance of business and leisure. That helps fill the airplanes. It's funny, the JetBlue flights going to Fort Lauderdale and Orlando,
Right.
it's usually families going to Orlando,
Right,
obviously
right.
Mickey World, and the snowbirds commuting from Fort Lauderdale.
Sure.
So,
But they also have a big convention center in Orlando as
Exactly,
well.
exactly.
And I remember taking a JetBlue to Florida direct.
Yeah.
It was incredible. First of all, I went down there and I bumped into, I don't know how many people from Leominster. I was going down to see our band perform.
Yeah.
And it was easy. I parked. It was really cheap to park.
$7 a day,
It used to be
$42
free,
a
so I
week.
protested a little bit, but it's cheap money to park. Right? They got to take care of the place, right? That's understandable. And went through TSA, a piece of cake. The state troopers were friendly.
Yeah,
Everybody was. It was a much calmer
It's
atmosphere.
a fantastic team we have out there. We have a lot of frequent flyers out of there, so I can't believe the number of people that are on first name basis
Right.
with the airline employees, the TSA
It's
folks.
really.
They're-
I was like this. I wish they went more places
Sure.
because you would
We're
travel
working on
more,
that.
right? Because it's a piece
Exactly.
of cake to go from Leominster to there and park. No aggravation, no stress.
Exactly.
And so I jumped on a plane. I think in 2.5 hours I was in Florida on JetBlue, and I was a happy guy. I couldn't believe it.
You know, I calculated when I left the airport, I came straight here from the airport. I punched it into the GPS and in 33 minutes.
Was
you'll
it
be
really 33
on
minutes? Piece of
Lancaster.
cake.
And I said, out of curiosity, I said, what would it be time-wise right now if you had to leave Boston
Oh, don't even-
to get
no.
here? An hour and 40 minutes was the estimate with
that's
traffic.
that keeps changing though.
Oh, of
So
course,
as you
it
get
factors in the
closer,
traffic.
10 minutes in traffic, 10 minutes in traffic. I've done that before.
And even Manchester's an option.
And that's
checked
getting
that out.
busy
That
too.
was an hour and 20 minutes to get from Manchester. So, I mean, a straight shot up 190, the most convenient way to fly in and out of Massachusetts.
So if they
it's
can
a
build
great option.
a concentration, they can build confidence and get the word out.
Right.
And especially like you said, that's critical. You said that, I didn't even think of that you can get to those hubs. And if you can get to Chicago or you can get to some of these hubs, these planes take off like
I
every
won't
10
begrudge somebody
seconds.
that wants to fly a nonstop to Denver. We
Right,
don't have
right.
nonstop to Denver.
Right.
But if you have to make a connection, as I said, 150 markets you can fly. So why go through the misery of dealing with the traffic in and out of Boston? Not to mention
Right.
the cost and
And
the
the
tolls.
layovers really don't last that long if you're
No,
going into
no.
a hub.
In fact, the layovers are about 40 minutes on
Yeah.
average.
And I like to hang around
And
the
that's an
airport for
hour
a
to
couple
get to
minutes.
Boston to
Yeah.
take a nonstop. So a 40-minute connection or an hour commute.
Now, Delta's going into Minneapolis.
No, Detroit.
Detroit? No, somebody listed that they were going to Minneapolis.
Nope. They have a big hub in Minneapolis.
Is that
but
what it is?
It's a
I could have
nonstop
sworn
to
they said they were
Detroit.
going to Minneapolis.
And that's a great connecting opportunity, too, because we've got American and JetBlue going up and down the eastern seaboard with connections. Delta is a great feed east-west.
Right.
And you've got a number of hubs that you can fly east and west. Chicago's the biggest one.
Right. Boy, that place is
I worked in
amazing.
Chicago for 6
Did you?
years
Yeah.
before I joined Massport.
There's like 12 planes going to Florida when you get down there. right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's wild.
With a flight leaving every 90 seconds from Chicago, if there's a thunderstorm, you're never going to catch up on those flights.
Right.
They'll be delayed for the rest of the day.
Right.
Detroit's a nice, compact, smaller hub
Mm-hmm.
where there's a lot of separation between the flights. So if you get a thunderstorm, those
Not a big
flights
deal.
recover. Everything will be on time
Right.
very quickly after that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you got 3 airlines heading out, plus you do a lot of private work out there, right?
General aviation, we're a reliever airport,
Mm-hmm.
so we relieve the congestion from Boston, but we're also a reliever for general aviation, which the biggest general aviation airport is Hanscom, right down the road
Yes.
in Burlington Concord area.
Right.
They're tight with space also, so we're starting to build up business with corporate jets out of Worcester too.
As the economy gets better,
Exactly.
more and more people, I think they were ripping down hangars at Hanscom to
Yeah.
replace them
Yeah,
because they had so many people, so much of a demand.
We have
out there.
1,300 acres at Worcester Regional
Wow.
Airport, so there's
Plenty of
room to grow.
That's awesome. And the old, a lot of people say, I don't want to leave out of Worcester. It's always foggy out of there.
I'm glad you brought that up
Yeah.
because you mentioned confidence in flying out
Right,
of Worcester
right.
too. When Massport took ownership of the airport 10 years ago, We actually operated the airport for the city of Worcester for 10 years prior to that. We couldn't put a dime into that in investments and infrastructure improvements. We didn't own the airport.
Right.
Since we've owned the airport, we've spent and invested over $100 million into that airport. The biggest ticket item that we did was to address the instrument landing system.
Right.
And previous to that, the new installation, that landing system would allow an airplane to land as long as he had 1,800 feet visibility down the runway and broke through the clouds before landing 200 feet above the ground.
Wow.
This instrument landing system we have now, Category 3, 600 feet horizontal visibility,
that's
and can break
crazy.
out of the clouds only 50 feet above the ground.
Wow.
So,
So pretty much
a
99%
pea
of
soup
the
pod
time.
they can land.
That's amazing.
And,
huh?
you know,
all of a sudden the plane comes out in a cloud 100 feet above ground, right? It's incredible.
That's a great message to get out there because the weather factor is now behind us.
Right.
It's a reliable airport. The airlines demand reliability because their customers
Sure.
demand reliability.
Right.
And those dividends have paid off because it wasn't long after we installed that, just over a year ago, JetBlue added the flight, American added service.
Right.
And,
They needed to.
Delta
They
started.
can't keep canceling things. It costs
That's
them
right.
money, and
That's
they got a
right.
plane sitting there to take
Not
off,
to
or
mention
one coming
the
in.
inconvenience for the customer.
Right, and if you can't come in and your vacation's over,
That's right.
the next thing you want to do is get home. If you can't get home, you're going to be a little upset, right?
Yeah,
and then you start
exactly.
thinking, well, let me go somewhere else.
And another thing we did to improve the reliability is part of that $100 million investment was also for snow removal equipment.
Yeah.
I say you can't control the weather,
Right.
but you can control the
Sure,
conditions of the runway.
absolutely.
We purchased 3 multifunctional snow blowers. They have a big plow in the front,
Yep.
a sweeper in the middle, and a blower in the back to get the residual.
Do they make
We-
cake at the end, too? Huh?
They keep everybody warm. They're well heated in the cabin.
Yeah.
And the employees are not only professional, but they're happy
They
with
know
the
what they're
equipment
doing,
they've got.
sure.
We can clear our primary runway, which is 7,000 feet long, in 15 minutes. And we can keep it clear.
Right.
So there's no delay.
That's
We just
incredible.
installed 2 more jet bridges. So when you were talking about going to a hub where you have to wait for a gate,
Right.
we have 3 airlines and 4 jet bridges. So there's no waiting for a gate. The one will always be available.
Right. That's incredible.
Yeah.
We all want to see it work out here. I do, because if it keeps building and you keep getting more flights
right.
out, that's just going to attract more airlines and more trips. They'll eventually say, let's add this, maybe some more.
And that's why I'm here
nonstop.
today, because Worcester has, 185,000 residents?
We have 50 or so,
Yeah,
and
in
Fitchburg's
the whole
got.
area. This area is right in the middle of our catchment area,
Right.
where there are 1 million people from southern Vermont and New Hampshire down to northern Connecticut and Rhode Island
Mm-hmm.
that live and can drive quicker to Worcester Regional Airport than any other airports,
Right.
Manchester, Providence, Boston,
So
or even Hartford.
That's who you appeal to.
Those million people have flown 3 million times last year. So
Wow.
now those 3 million
those.
trips, those million customers have an option.
Yeah.
And think about a 30-minute drive just down
Oh,
190.
I don't travel much these days, but yeah, I think I would travel more.
Now I'm talking you into it, right?
If I was closer, right? I mean, make it really easy for
Exactly.
people, and they're like,
Exactly.
heck, 2.5 hours to Florida. I think I'll go for, from Thursday to Sunday night or something, right?
Absolutely.
978-537-7760 is the number to call here at Inside Leominster, and Andy Davis is the director of the Worcester Regional Airport. If you're just joining us, give us a buzz. If you have any questions, if you've had any experience lately of taking off. As I said, I've been out a couple times and nothing. I took off on time, walked out into the tarmac. Everybody's friendly. Took my luggage with me. Everything was perfect. Couldn't have been any better. Although I was a little bit spoiled, thinking, why can't we have more of this? Because it was a great experience, and it looks like we will.
One thing I'd caution about being spoiled is everybody that flies out of there realizes how easy it is, because the parking lots are right across the street
Right.
next to it.
Yep.
So they think they can get out of their car and through security where there's no lines. The jet bridges are right there, and they can run down the jet bridge. I actually witnessed somebody be able to get out of a car on the curb and walk down the jet bridge 3 minutes later.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with that is a 100-seat airplane,
Yeah.
if 100 people show up 15 minutes before
Right,
departure,
right.
somebody's not going to get on,
Yeah.
because that TSA line will get very,
Right.
very long, very
But
quick.
still, it's just a great experience, and to know you're close to home. And then when you get back at night, if you're coming in on a later flight, you're 30, like you said, 33 minutes.
Exactly.
You can do that.
Home
right?
for dinner.
Yeah, it's
And
like,
not worry about getting stuck on the pike.
it's incredible. And for people that travel, as I said, people customarily have taken the bus out of the Airbus out of Boston,
Right.
and you connect to, it'll go to DC in the morning. It goes to what, and so more and more people are flying. I think there are more people flying than they've ever flown.
Absolutely.
And just an incredible opportunity for people in this area.
When I started with Massport 10 years ago, there were 29 million people flying out of Boston. They'll probably break 40 this year. So aviation is growing.
Oh, sure.
And airports have so much space. Boston's surrounded on 3 sides by water.
Yeah.
And that's what our airport is for, to accommodate the growth in aviation without sacrificing and having more constraints at the airports.
And the
that are already
customer wants
providing
more
service.
options, right? So if they're going to just go
Absolutely.
somewhere and they can, even if it costs. So how was the pricing? How was the pricing? I know it was, when I took off out of there, it was very comparable.
Very competitive.
Yeah.
Very competitive.
Because sometimes people get scared. They're like, oh, I bet it's a lot more money if you go to the Worcester airport.
No, not at all. We compare the prices constantly of the surrounding airports, and we're right in the range. Now, I will hear somebody tried to book to go to Fort Lauderdale, for example, and it was $30 more.
Yeah.
Well, by the time they were booking that flight, it was probably a bit heavier, and the
Yes.
lower fares
Sure.
out of Boston still
Right.
had a lot more seats. Just
Right.
like booking a hotel room.
It's like booking
You're going to
anything
get
else.
rack rate
You
when
pay,
you're the last room.
you pay
to be in.
more, right?
Exactly.
The closer you get, like buying a seat at the NFL game, right? Any
Exactly.
sporting event, you're going to pay more as it
Exactly.
gets closer. So if you plan it out, it's going to be pretty competitive.
Right.
Other airlines potentially
Yeah,
looking?
we're working on a number of things, not
Good.
just the 3 airlines that we have now. They're flying. 2 of them are flying the commuter jets, the 50 seats. They're still jets, twin engine jets. JetBlue's flying the 100-seat airplane, Embraers. We'd love to see them upgauged, have the large airplanes fly to provide more seats, but we also want to see them to add additional flights so they have travel options. A good example is New York's Kennedy flight. That leaves at 6 o'clock in the morning. That plane comes back after 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
It could be a day tripper, but that makes for a long
That's a
day
long
in
day.
New York.
Yeah.
So they're used. That flight is being used more and more for connecting opportunities where people will be
Okay.
gone for days.
That makes it sound.
But an afternoon flight to Kennedy would be a
Perfect.
great day trip business traveler.
Right.
And that plane comes back in the afternoon and goes back to New York. What happens in New York in the afternoon at JFK? All the internationals are
Right.
leaving.
Yep.
Awesome connections for international.
Yeah.
So we're trying to encourage the airlines to increase service. We're also looking at ultra low cost carriers, and not specific. Don't think that I'm going to say Spirit, Sun Country, Allegiant are going to start flying out here. Those are the examples of the airlines we're talking to.
Those kind. I saw them
Yeah.
in Minneapolis
They
flying
fly
out,
into
in and out of
the
there.
niche markets.
Yeah, right.
That'd be great. Like Allegiant does it for 2 or 3 days a week to Fort Myers, Punta Gorda, which is on the Gulf Coast of
Right.
Florida.
You can't go there every day. You
right.
wouldn't be able to fill the plane.
But they're able to fill their airplanes because they only do it 3 days a week,
Right,
and that's
right.
the leisure traveler.
And
that
you
is
plan
flexible.
around that, right? They leave on a
Yeah,
Tuesday
yeah.
or something, and then
And we're also talking to the other legacy carriers that have hub and spoke operations. We'd love to see service to the Washington metro area. We'd love to see service to Chicago, because those are the 2 biggest business markets that are currently being flown out of Boston to.
Right.
So we're,
and Hanscom's busy. Hanscom's a
with
busy
corporate
place.
jets, they're very,
Yeah.
very busy, and they're growing too. So
We a number of businesses, when they were conducting businesses, national companies or whatever they might be, we had meetings with them like, hey, geez, how was Logan today? And they're like, no, we flew our own plane in. I'm like, really? They landed in Fitchburg or Worcester or Hanscom. And I'm like, really? And
I
like,
give
oh,
Fitchburg credit too. They're expanding.
They're doing
too.
really well over there. People, I don't think the majority of people in the area understand how busy that place is and how many people travel in on business.
That's just with that kind of activity at the general aviation airports like Fitchburg
Right.
and Worcester. That just shows the demand for
Yes.
aviation is growing.
Right.
So and try building new airports. You're not going to find any.
It's not going to happen. They're going
particularly
to make
in
them
the
more
Northeast.
efficient,
Exactly,
as
exactly.
efficient as they can get.
So you maximize the use of the current airports you've got now.
Well, I'm looking for. I think you'd increase the more flights there are out,
Sure.
and as competitive as you can stay for pricing. I think you're going to just find more and more people think, geez, let's go here or let's go there.
We're
And
very
people do
optimistic.
travel. People's children are, they go to work somewhere. They don't. Before they all worked. If you lived in Worcester, you lived within. You worked Auburn or Worcester or Grafton, and here in Leominster. And now people are all over. I'm talking about a friend yesterday. His daughter lives in, is it Austria? And his son is in Bangkok.
Oh wow.
And so they're going to be traveling to go visit
That's a lot of traveling.
pretty soon. Yeah, they've got, but that's not uncommon today. Even
not
for the
at all.
different parts of the United States, somebody's in California, somebody's in Denver.
Right,
People are all over the place. Thus, the reason that you see all these people traveling and
Yep.
and business as the economy came back. I remember seeing those commercials for office video, kind of Skyping kind of things, and I
But
thought.
there's nothing like a handshake to close the deal,
And you're
you
with
can't
somebody.
do that over Skype.
Exactly, and I thought people think this is the way business is going to be done.
no.
I doubt it. As soon as the economy got better, people realized this isn't important, or the people that knew how important it was kept on it. They were a little more frugal in what they did, but everybody
One of your
adjusted.
manufacturers around the area has a breakdown of machinery. A Skype conference call is not going to fix that. A technician's going to have to fly in and fix it.
And it happens very
Time is
often
money.
around here, very, very often. So it's been interesting, and I plan to use the airport.
Absolutely.
I might just get on and just go somewhere just for the heck of it. I mean, it's so easy to use it. I mean, that's great.
The more we get word out, in particular, both round trip,
Hmm.
telling friends and family, the 35% of the people that come and visit Massachusetts come to visit family and friends.
Right.
So they're a great salesperson to say, hey, when you get on Orbitz or Expedia or Priceline, just type in Worcester first,
Right.
or a three-letter code, ORH.
Right, you never know.
And
Maybe
you
it
may
doesn't
be
accommodate
very
you,
pleasantly surprised.
but maybe it does.
Save a family member driving to Boston to pick them up.
You'll be a hero. So let's go through. So where are the airlines going? So
Sure.
JetBlue's going where?
JetBlue has 3 markets nonstop to New York's Kennedy, Fort Lauderdale, and Orlando.
Okay.
American Airlines has nonstop service to their Philadelphia hub with all those connecting opportunities. And just this past August, Delta started service to their Detroit hub, which is a great east-west feed, even beyond the west to the far east. Beijing nonstops you can catch out of Detroit. So
And so how often, like the JetBlue going to Florida, because people are going to start thinking about going to Florida.
Right.
How often do they have a morning and an afternoon? They leave.
one flight a day
One
to
flight a
all
day.
those markets, 7 days a week.
Yeah. And what time of day do they leave?
The Kennedy flight is our first flight in the morning at 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have all the rest of the flights leave in the afternoon
Oh,
between
perfect.
the 3 and 6 o'clock time frame. So you can catch any one of those flights, and then we also have the Kennedy arrival late at night. So the good thing is in the afternoon, if you want to get a head start to
Right.
Orlando or
Yeah,
Fort Lauderdale,
yeah, leave
you
it.
don't want to leave in the afternoon, then catch that Kennedy flight and make a connection. You'll be in Orlando, but still before noontime.
Right.
If you want to stay later, because those planes come in from Orlando or Fort Lauderdale, they leave around the 2 o'clock time frame to be here later in the afternoon. You can stick around in Orlando and catch an evening flight and connect in
Right.
Kennedy.
So you just got to get a little creative and a little
Exactly,
patience,
exactly.
and you can make it work. But boy, the drive, the stress of thinking I'm going to leave here 2 hours early and then find out it's still not enough time to get to the airport. That's stressful.
That's right.
That's very stressful.
I don't know if I've ever heard of a traffic congestion on I-190. So
Other than when they were doing the bridge,
Yeah.
that's about it.
the unknown
It starts
of
at
traffic.
290. There's no traffic congestion, but you get off 190, so you'll
Exactly.
buy it all.
You're adding another period of time for the unknown factor.
Right.
Because you don't know what kind of traffic you're going to get on Route 2 or
Never know.
495
You
or the
could
Pike.
put Waze and say, how long does it take me to get to Boston?
yeah.
Jump in your car, it's an hour and a half, whatever, and it turns into two
and a half hours, and it keeps growing.
Yeah, that's the part that kills me when it starts growing.
That's right,
Like,
that's
okay, I can handle an hour and a half. Then all of a sudden it's like, time in traffic, 10 minutes. I'm like, 10 minutes? Another 10 minutes? I would have went the other way, right?
That's right.
Well, thank you very much. That was
Hey, it
great.
was a pleasure. I
great
appreciate your
information.
time
And I wished I made it to the event, but they had it at the Art Museum.
That was a
and,
fantastic
Yeah,
event.
and I saw
Yeah.
pictures in the Telegram
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Business Journal. But don't forget us out here. We're a big population out in this
Absolutely
area.
not. I mean, when I looked at just how close Leominster is, North Worcester, that's a great area because we've been doing a lot of marketing and whatnot in the Worcester, Shrewsbury, Auburn area, and that's where the highest percentage are flying out of. But like I was saying, our catchment area, this is prime territory.
$7 a day.
42 a week, you get the 7th day free.
$7 a day. That's crazy. I mean, it's so expensive to park at these parking grounds. I mean, it's like, and they've all gone that way. I think
Exactly.
Nashua used to be free. You pull up and park. And that's not free anymore.
And that's another
Manchester.
another thing.
Manchester, Boston, they
Right.
call themselves.
That's right,
Why
that's
don't you
right.
call yourself Worcester, Boston?
Because We're proud of Worcester. We're proud
No,
of
but I
Worcester.
mean, they did. They're like Manchester, Boston. They're like hour and a half away from Boston. What do you mean, Manchester, Boston? I get it, though. You know, but when you go into like D.C., there are all those airports, and some of them aren't very close to. Dulles isn't very close. It's Baltimore, basically, right? But you think you're landing in Washington.
Baltimore Washington International Airport, BWI.
Exactly. So you think you're there, and then you get in a cab, and God forbid it's snowing, because then they double and triple it, and then you got like $200 or $300 bill, for getting there, and you're like, wait a minute, I should just went.
And that's a good point about our parking. I mean, if you're going to pay for ground transportation to Logan, limousine service, or even get the lower cost on Route 1A and take a shuttle in, it's still
I ain't doing
expensive.
that.
So if you're looking at a fare that's maybe $10, $15 higher at Worcester, you're still making out.
Yeah. Oh no, this is perfect. And the more I think customers support it, it will show confidence, and it will show those other airlines that there's a capture area here and people that are interested in flying.
That's right.
I'm sure they get the demographics anyway.
Oh,
right?
we do.
I mean, they
We
get
do.
your credit card, they get all your demographics. Well, this has been great, and so you've been in the business most of your life.
I have 10 years with Massport, 26 years with American Airlines, and
Wow.
I worked at airports as large as Chicago O'Hare and as small as Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Allentown,
so I've been
Pennsylvania.
all over the place.
That's
all around
amazing,
the
huh?
country. Yeah.
And it's just such an interesting business because it seems like, in the advent of like Southwest and some of these, these sort of smaller ones that came in and kind of shook up the whole market.
Yeah,
And now, but one interesting thing is they say that most flights take off 90-something% full.
Yeah.
And I remember getting on planes that were half empty and thinking, how do these guys make any money?
Well, the good news is when they're flying out 90% full, they're able to keep the fares lower.
Right,
And,
right.
they were able to keep the fares high and still make a profit at 60% full. Those days are gone.
There's a
Those days are
threshold
gone.
for how much people will pay.
That's right.
And,
the pain factor.
interesting data is that people won't travel for coffee
Right.
unless they're really crazy. Like, I gotta have this coffee. I can't function unless I
Right.
have this. But people will travel for gas.
Yep.
And people only pay so much for an air flight.
That's right.
And they better know exactly what that tipping point is because they've done things
It's
like
an art.
charge for.
The airlines have an art. It's called yield management.
Yes.
They know when the prices should be higher, should be lower, and that's where you see those fares.
Data driven.
I suggest people follow the airlines on Facebook because they do these flash fares when they see an opportunity just to fill the plane.
Yeah.
The plane's going anyway, so you might as well make it go full.
AAA does a lot of that
Yeah.
where they'll try to help their customers and say, I know people that wait for those last minute trips, keep the bag
It's a
packed.
risk.
Hey, there's got a special going on. We can fly you to Italy or Europe or something for a couple $100. Like, what? Get your bags and they're off.
Yeah.
It's incredible. But they do a good job. I mean, they're for the most part on time and that takes a whole lot of
That's
organization.
the other cool
to
thing
do.
about Worcester being on time. We're just 5 flights a day, and they're spread out over the course of the day, mostly in the afternoon. But, how many times do you fly out of an airport and the captain's announcing we're number 1 for takeoff, and you're still at the gate?
Yeah, not bad, huh? Well, geez, that's been a great experience.
Yep.
Let us know when something's new is happening
Absolutely.
as you go. You can always call into the show, but always
Sure.
welcome to be a guest here. And we talked to Carl about maybe doing a live show right from
Oh,
the
absolutely.
airport sometime, so people can actually see it. That'd be fun.
Great, great.
All right, Andy, we're taking a short break, and we'll be right back with more Inside Leominster. go. Mayor LaPierre. If you ever, I believe, Ronnie, at one point, Sue Gardner passed away, but she had started this project of working on the history of mayors in the city. And she had started the process, got ill, still worked on it, and then had to obviously set it aside while she became seriously ill and then passed away. But I know that there's an effort out there to sort of look at some of the history, because some of them is very interesting. I think every one of them is interesting. And as a story, from the first mayor, Mayor Sawtell, that owned the hardware store downtown. And there's some great stories about each of the mayors, I believe 18 or 17. And so anyway, that's Mayor LaPierre. That was good. That was very helpful to have Andy as a guest. And yeah, I suspect there are, if you've used that airport, give me a call and just let me know that you've used it and where you flew to. That's it. And you can hang up. We're live tonight, streaming as well as through Facebook. That's a good place to watch us. The quality is really good, Kyle, on Facebook. Feedback is that the quality is very, very good. Shoalin Farms is open 7 days a week now, 10 to 5. And a super year. In the peaches, everything up there was just fabulous. And I'm not sure if anybody's watching from Shoalin, that's part of the group. Let us know what's available. Are peaches still available? Can you still get blueberries? Can you get raspberries? I know there are different varieties. And so one of the neat things about this brochure that you can get is that it talks about each variety and approximately when you can get that variety. Also has a map of the area. And remember, this is your orchard. If you're a Leominster taxpayer, this is your orchard. So please support it. That's how that's how it runs. It runs on donations, and it runs on the fact that you go there and you pick and spend money on T-shirts and everything else. So anyway, they're open 10 to 5 each and every day. I did see some pumpkins up there the other day. I haven't. I guess the weather forecast for the rest of the month, I heard or read today, was that it would be a little bit seasonably warm, higher than normal, warmer than normal. And let's see what this is. I don't know what this is. It's a past event, August 3rd. Anyway, that's the read on it. So a couple of years we had pumpkins, and it was so warm the pumpkins basically melted. They can't hold up. With cool temperatures at night, warm during the day, you have a better chance of buying that pumpkin early on and having it survive past, or at least until Halloween. Okay, Food Truck Festival tomorrow night, September 13th, Friday the 13th, full moon. Sold out in terms of the food trucks. We have the most amount of food trucks we've ever had, the most amount of food trucks we can fit. So it'll be a great night. You see the new Leominster word spelled out, missing the I. Good chance for you to get your picture taken downtown. You are the I. So the first week we put it up, everybody was calling me saying, where's the I? Are you guys going to like put the I in some special day? And we're like, no, you are the I. And legendary Leominster, and you are the I. And as we know, that everybody's a legend in town. Everybody has a story, a good story to tell. Some of them change, some get better with age, like wine. But it's an interesting place. And so the people that we had helping us to come up with our strategy for a new marketing campaign, it wasn't but a day or so or a few hours when they said, we're pretty sure we have the tagline. And I said, really? And they're like, yeah, it didn't take very long. We went to the mall. We went to different coffee shops in town. We stopped people in the street. We traveled in neighborhoods. We think we got it. It was legendary Leominster. And so we'll certainly play off of that, whether it's sports, arts and culture. We have so many categories, literature, so much going on. And so legendary Leominster, you are the I in Leominster. Stop down, get your picture taken, put it up on Instagram. You can post it on Facebook. You can everywhere, right? Instagram. There's so many social media sites that you can post it on. But get your picture down there because you are the I. And then on the 14th, which is the day after the 13th, Saturday morning, it's harvest time, and the farmers market will be in operation from 9 to noon, I believe. And so this year, and I've always wanted to do it. I'm like, year after year, I'm like, I don't have time, I ran out of time, do it next year. So this year I said, if 5 tractors shows up or 500 show up, then we're gonna take a shot at it. So if you have a tractor, a little tractor, a big tractor, a broken tractor, one that runs, one that you have to push, one that runs on gas, propane, electricity, battery, a kid's tractor, whatever it might be, an antique tractor, a new tractor, a loader, an excavator, whatever it is, meet behind C&M Pizza across from Leominster Credit Union in that parking lot. From there, at say anywhere between 9:30, don't be past like 10 of, because then it gets hectic, but between 9:30 and 9:50, let's say. And we're going to organize there. You feel free to decorate your tractor, put emblems on it, whatever it is you want to do, you can pull. If you have a little carriage and you want to pull it, or you have a little cart and you want to pull it, by all means, please do. And then we're going to make our way through town. Depending on how busy town is, we make a full loop, or we may make a half loop. But that'll be determined that day. Then, for any tractors that want to stay, we'll have a section at the farmers market on West Street where they can line up and kids can touch them and kind of climb on them and ask questions about them, and if they're antique ones. And again, I have no count on how many are going, but I know we have some pretty big tractors, we have some medium-sized tractors and some small tractors. And Jeff sold the coolest tractor. Jeff, do you have a picture of your tractor that you sold?
Yeah, I'll grab one.
Yeah, that'd be so fun. And so he just so happened to sell it, and he didn't plan on it, but I was really hoping that he'd make it. So maybe, Jeff, you can restore one by Saturday.
You never know.
One never knows. And anyway, so that's the deal on that. So kids love it. Listen, if you're a little kid, you see a tractor, you just go crazy, right? They're lots of fun. So if you're just coming down, you want to watch, come on down. You can line the road, or you can meet us at the farmers market. And it is the celebration of harvest season. The moon is the harvest moon, and let's celebrate the fact that you can get the best tasting. And even, when I was in Pennsylvania, the produce doesn't taste the same. It just doesn't. A tomato doesn't taste the same there as it does here. Cherry tomatoes, for some reason, don't taste the same. The same in Florida and other places that I visited. There is a certain taste I'm looking for. The peaches, everything around here is just unbelievable. Zucchini, all kinds of squashes, butternut. We bought acorn squash from Sholin Farms. It was unbelievable. So, having said that, we're lucky. We have Go Farm here. We have, who else sells retail around here? Dick's is in Lunenburg, but locally it's Sholin, and I think Harper's still sells in certain sections of the city. And then we have Gove, and we're fortunate. And the corn and everything around here. So celebrate the harvest, because it won't be long where the only thing you'll be able to get is butternut squash and some winter harvest, late fall products. And so enjoy it while you can. And we're going to pick a week. And if you'd like to join me, I'll let you know how. We're going to take a week where we do nothing. We do this every year, where we eat nothing except for things that are grown here in Leominster. And we've expanded it out to the area because we've actually gone to like Bob's Turkey. We've gone to a couple places in Townsend. So we've expanded out, basically meaning that you can eat local without having to leave this area here, and you can eat fresh and healthy. 7:15 here at Inside Leominster. Give us a buzz if you've ever been to the Worcester, if you've ever used the Worcester Regional Airport, and what your experience was when you travel that way. And you can go to the website. It'll give you all the different airlines that travel from there and when they travel out. And I expect a lot of people will be using it this year, especially since they've added Delta. Okay, what else is coming up? This is a busy time of the year. It's a busy place. Not only our activities, but a number of church activities, nonprofits, school events that will be happening. By all means, you're free to call here and share those events with us. So if you want to give us, save the date, give us a call and say, hey, save the date for this, or save the date for that. By all means, 978, there's the number right there, 978-537-77. 60 is the number to call. Checking for messages. Okay, yes. We did post this week that they were going to start paving, our paving project. We are doing over $2 million. That's the most money we've ever spent in the history of the city doing pavement. Did about $1 million in the fall, $1 million in the spring or so. And so now we're going to do about $2 million. Over $2 million. However, just to let you know, the other day they did Main Street, that section from the old Kentucky Fried Chicken, Sookies. They did from there up to, I think they're going as far as the cemetery, because we did a section already. So they're going that far. So they've already zipped it and reground it. They've ground it up. Tomorrow, which is Friday the 13th, they'll be out there to put the first coat of pavement. That'll smooth it out. And they are working, they're going to continue to work on North Main Street. They started zipping it. I don't know how far they got today, but they started zipping it and grinding that street. They are hoping to get in there and put the base pavement on Saturday. So it may get a little tricky, but you know, we're spending $2 million on pavement, we're going to run out of nice days. And we're trying to get as much done and keep those crews moving. So let's see. Oh, that's right. We have pictures of the week. What am I doing? Kind of lost my mind. Pictures of the week. Let's do them. Anyway, I know somebody said today that they can't seem to travel any street, no matter which street they go down, there's a detour to the next street. But those are all the different projects, and you plan them, and you try to plan them so that they're not conflicting with each other, but many times they are. And so we apologize for that, but it means work's getting done on Merriam Ave, all over the place we're doing projects. Sidewalks, 29 different pieces of sidewalk to make us 100% handicap accessible in the downtown area. So it's, I guess it's all happening at once. Here we go, kids. And there we are. There's the Main Street paving. First, they run that big zipper down the road and grind up the old pavement. If we don't, what happens eventually is you have your driveway, and the pavement gets higher than your driveway. When it rains, guess where the water goes? It goes into your driveway. So we zipper it, get rid of all that, all the defects in the street, and then we put a couple coats of blacktop down, stripe it, and we're on our way. There we are, getting ready to pave North Main Street. Equipment is there, and again, working on first coat of pavement on Main Street tomorrow, and the first coat of pavement on North Main Street on Saturday, and more streets to continue to follow. And honoring those that served, we had a great ceremony yesterday. Thank you to the Veterans Office, to Johnny Rowe Park, and everybody that helps to maintain that park. 100% of that is maintained by volunteers, and we thank them. We had a number of families that were there to support their loved ones, over 60 recipients of their medals. If you didn't get a medal, call the Veterans Office and let them know. If you're in the hospital or somebody has a loved one that's incapacitated and can't make it to events like this, we'll make a house call and go to your home. But it was a really good night. There were several close friends who I know served, and it was a pleasure to be able to pin them their medals. So thank you to everybody that's there, and thank you to those who on 9/11 who rushed in while others were running and rushing out of the World Trade Center, and others that were attacked, and without even knowing what the circumstances were, because that's what they do. We lost a number of people who were in the World Trade Center or in flight. We also lost a number of people in the area who were serving in Iran or Afghanistan. So we salute to all. And to those that visit nursing homes and rest homes and homes when our veterans are ill, and give them the support that they need, and the people that work in those facilities to give them good health care, we salute you. Again, a great turnout. I don't know, there had to be a couple hundred people there, 250 to 300 people there, and proud moment for families to see their loved ones receive that medal. And there's the new offices at the Recreation Department. I got to tell you, the Center for Technical Education, what a beautiful job. They do so many. They don't get the credit they deserve. They have done so many projects here in the city, and this is one of them. The recreation offices look very much like they did 50 years ago, and really needed an update. Weren't handicap accessible, and they did just a beautiful job. They're still working on the outside, but just remarkable. Just done such good work, and so we thank them. And yes, it's a learning experience for them, but for us, it's cost savings. It's a project we might not have been able to do, and we pay for the materials, and they provide the labor, the heating systems, HVAC, plumbing, everything. The young ladies that were there, I don't know if we got a picture of it, but I'll go back. But it was they did all the hardwood flooring. We're doing all the painting on the interior doors. a real team effort by both our young professional men and women. And there we are, the new chair for Barrett Park, which was donated. And this chair will make it so much easier, push a loved one around, and get him to places that typically wouldn't be able to get to, so that it's access to all. And so there's members of the Disability Commission, our building inspector, and also the organization that donated the chair. That chair also goes in the water. Believe it or not, you can push somebody into the ocean, and it's very safe. It's well built, and we thank them for the donation. Utility work continues on West Street. Again, National Grid is up there. We're going to be doing Granite Street, and I know we get a lot of complaints in that area, so we are going to be doing Granite Street, but first we need to get that gas work done. And again, work continues there, and people might say, I can't get up West Street, I can't get up Merriam Ave. Yes, you can get up West Street, but Merriam Ave we've had to actually close off. And Sally coordinating our fall colors. There's Sally, and they do such a great job. They have such a good team. DPW helps out, the rec department, and our office as well. But everywhere I go now, it's downtown lights look great. We love the flowers, and we just do a little commercial of the fact that a lot of those flowers come from donations. And if you'd like to make a donation, you can send it to the mayor's office in Leominster, 25 West Street. And the new furniture is in. I know Wendy Weeks is happy because the new furniture is in at the Mechanic Street Park, and they did a beautiful job. I think I said last week, I've seen people taking wedding pictures there. I've seen people taking graduation pictures there, prom pictures. I can't tell you how many people I've seen there. And now we've got the benches in. You could have a little birthday party there, a good gathering. Maybe you have a religious group and you're doing Bible study, or maybe you want to do an outdoor religious activity. It's public space. And there's our crew at DPW as well as John Geoffrin, and working together to get those things bolted down. Hey, the Haitian Festival really did draw a crowd. I tell you, it was pretty impressive with the amount of people that were there. And it was a wonderful afternoon. We met a whole lot of new people. And, the Haitian community is growing here in the city, and they want to be very much part of that community. They're hard workers, churchgoers, take education very seriously. Sounds like all ethnic groups, right? And so we just came from a meeting just before I came here, follow-up meeting to the festival and other things that they are planning to do. And the 60th anniversary of Life Care Center. That was a wonderful afternoon. Boy, they had a big party. They had chowder and lobster, and they had this band was just priceless. They were awesome. And they had ice cream booths set up, and they had food and music, and it's just a wonderful day. And congratulations to Life Care Center. 60 years. As I understand it, there are 240 Life Care Centers, and owned by a gentleman that's chairman of the board, I guess, that's 84 years old himself. And the farmer's market was busy this past weekend. It's a perfect time, I'll tell you. Eat as much of this as you can. It's healthy, it's grown locally, much of it is organic. And you know what? How cool is it to be able to come downtown, to own downtown, and to come to a farmer's market to buy things that are grown and made locally. And congratulations to John Frere. He's now a lieutenant with the Leominster Police Department. I was very happy as the appointing authority for the city to promote John. And we did some photo ops there. And so John will be working the midnight shift now. John started with us, I forget how many years ago, with the DPW. Took the test to be a police officer, promoted him to sergeant. He's done a wonderful job. We have a great department as we do with fire department. We have some great new people there, and some great mentors that have been there for a couple of decades to carry on the tradition. Get your tractor ready. I said, listen, doesn't have to be a big tractor. It could be a little tractor. It could be one of those, I've seen little kids driving around in those little battery-operated rechargeable tractors. That's Saturday morning. Weather's going to be beautiful. If you can't get the tractor there and you need somebody to trailer it, get on Facebook and ask somebody if they have a trailer that they can help you to get your tractor there. And that's it, kids. That's photos of the week. Jeez, what a fast hour it's been. Just a couple minutes left here at Inside Leominster. I know you're going to want to know that Saturday, this is something exciting. I'm amazed at how many people, months in advance, want to know when the citywide yard sale is. We had a spring one, and it's so popular, we had to add a fall citywide yard sale. That's coming up this Saturday, 8 to 3. We have a map. Check the website. The map will be there. As also as the Facebook page. We'll have the entire map of everybody that's having a yard sale. And if you find any good deals, call me up. Johnny Appleseed Festival is just a week away. Imagine that, a week away. At the Johnny Appleseed Festival, Saturday, September 21st. And anybody know when is the International Food Event Festival at Holy Family? Is that also the 21st? Anybody give me a quick text or call? So I believe that's the 21st. So Johnny Appleseed Festival, the 21st, coming up quick. The Cannoli Fest, everybody asks me this. I go to meetings in Boston and people are like, I can't believe you guys have this Cannoli Fest. I know people that go to it. October 3rd, 5 to 9, Shoalin Farms. Let's see. No, apparently they didn't tell me that. They were telling me about some other event that's going on, but that's like far away. That's at the end of October. The Shoalin Farms Harvest Festival is October 12th. The Halloween Parade is the 19th of October. And then we start all the holiday events. So lots going on here in the legendary Leominster community. And hope to see you tomorrow night at the Food Truck Festival. A lot of new people in town. If you see me, just give me a little tug. I love to talk to people. I love to hear where people are from. I love sharing stories. So please give me a little yank on my shirt and say, excuse me, hey, can we chat for a little bit? I love talking to people. I love meeting new people. And I love to hear that people love being here in the city of Leominster. So let's see. The 14th for Holy Family? Okay. So is it? Are you sure? So 14th for Holy Family, apparently. Okay, I'm going to go with that. 14th for Holy Family. We're just about out of time here at Inside Leominster. I want to thank you, the whole crew, for coming in each and every Thursday night to be with us. They do a great job. And thank you to our sponsor. Insulation is very important this time of year. And hopefully in the next one of the next shows, we'll talk about getting your chimney clean, getting your pellets, getting your wood, weights and measurements. We'll have them come in and talk a little bit about wood and pellets and how much you're supposed to get, and all the things that you need to know about weatherization and free energy audits. All those things are things that we hope to bring you in the next couple of months. But in the meantime, we're out of time. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. I'll have a grilled cheese. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you through the generous support of Colonial Insulation Company, residential and commercial insulation and fireproofing services, specializing in blown-in cellulose as well as spray foam insulation. For more information, visit their website, colonialinsulation.com.